So in letter 21, Screwtape turns to an attack on, well, our peevishness, our irritability, our crankiness, our pettiness. He turns to attack our sense of, well, self-ownership. And this is an attack that has to be prepared first by, well, darkening our intellect. It's not something that he can come at us directly with. It's something that, a demon plans to attack us on the side when there's something else going on in our lives, when we already feel kind of like our plate is full. It's then that this is kind of used as just that next thing that gets thrown on us, so that we're really not on our guard. We're not ready for it. And so rather than us being able to, well, actually think about it clearly and addressing it, we usually get, well, tripped up by it, and we just fall victim to it. It plays off the fact that it's not so much that we're angered by misfortune. We understand that, well, sometimes things just don't go our way. But it plays off the fact that we really get angered when we perceive that misfortune to be, well, an injury. An injury is an injustice. It's when something rightfully ours is denied us. But here's the thing. Like, true injustice really is an injury, and those things really do happen. But here, the demon doesn't want to actually play in realities. A demon always wants to play in things that are perceived as such, things that seem to be that way, things that, well, really aren't that way, because then they can, well, get us with a lie. You know, true things lead to truth, but lies lead to, well, further lies. And so they lie to us about what is an injustice, what is an injury in our lives. And they make us, well, fall victim to thinking that we are a victim, that we are injured, that we have been, denied something that shouldn't be denied, something that should rightfully be ours. And so the demon's trick is to play off what we consider to be legitimate claims to who we are, legitimate claims to what we ought to have, right? But it's not the things that we truly ought to have. It's the things that, well, we only think that we should have. And so the first kind of example that Screwtape goes into is the example of time. If you think about it, time, like a lot of things, is truly a gift. Time is a gift from God. Our lives, every breath we take, it's something that isn't, well, in a sense, rightfully our claim, rightfully ours. It's something that we can't produce ourselves, something that we can't give to ourselves. And yet it is something that has been given on to us. And so time is, well, a gift. And yet when we fall victim to the lie that our time is our own, we set ourselves up perfectly for this sort of attack that Screwtape is discussing with Wormwood. Because now once we start to claim that that time that was truly a gift from God is, well, not a gift, but is something that is rightfully ours, that we are as C.S. Lewis puts it, the lawful possessor of 24 hours, that time is our birthright, that we see, this day as truly ours, and, we're willing to give up a little time for work, and we're willing to give up a little time for religious duty, going to church. But ultimately, time is my own, and I should be able to have at least some of it for myself. When we get ourselves into that mindset, all of a sudden, we fall victim to becoming irritable, becoming cranky, becoming petty when things just kind of naturally arise. When that occasion happens where someone sees us on the street and wants to stop us and talk to us. And the only thing that we can think of is, this isn't where I want to be right now. I want to get moving on. I want something to get done with something else. That happens, and that sort of pettiness, that sort of, rudeness, that sort of selfishness, that arises really out of a lie that we have bought into. That this time that I have is not for her or for him. This time is for me, and I don't want to deal with this right now. But rather, God has given us this time. And he's given us this opportunity, perhaps with this person. And yet we've all just pushed it away. Now, the reason why Screwtape says, you really can't come at this sort of attack from the front is because of, well, how ridiculous the statement that my time is my own truly is. How ridiculous that is, and how, well, unable that even the demon is able to give us reasons to try to support that claim. It's preposterous, really, that a creature would claim that something that he or she can't make themselves is something that is, well, under their control. And yet we buy into that assumption so often. And this is something that Screwtape talks about with regards to time, but he also relates it to a lot of other things, that lie that my body is my own, that lie that says, maybe my wife or my husband is my own, that my city or my land or my house is my own. We sometimes make claim to things that really we should receive as gifts. And in fact, when we receive those things as gifts, we'll actually care for them much more properly. We'll actually allow their gifts and their talents, if they're another person, to actually be able to shine. Or if it's a possession that we have, we'll actually be free from it and allow it to either support our family or maybe even to support our community or those who are in need. When we detach ourselves and actually receive these things as a gift, everything seems to fall into place, but yet the demon would have us want to make that claim that these things are mine. And part of their trick is because that possessive word mine can be used in, well, a various or all sorts of different senses. And yet they try to restrict it just to the one. C.S. Lewis talks about the teddy bear, that he tries to make us claim our time, our dog, our spouse, our friend, even our God, as, well, mine, in the sense of this is my teddy bear, and I can do with it what I want. If I want to tear it apart, I can. If I want to ignore it, I can. If I want to do this, I can. Why? Because it's mine. Versus a more true sense of the term mine, which is that it has a special relationship to me. You could even see this with a teddy bear. That's my teddy bear. There were many different nights that it comforted me while there was a storm outside. It's that intimate relationship, that we would use my family. Not that I can do with it what I want, but rather it's mine. It's what informs me and makes me me. It's has an intimate place or claim to my heart. That's really what the term my should be, most especially when we say my God. When we say my God, we don't mean that God is mine and I can do with him what I want. I can make him into what I want. I can make him teach what I want. I can make him do for me what I want. No. We say my God in the sense of, well, a God who is intimately and personally relating to us by a deep friendship and indeed a deep gift, a gift of salvation, a gift of love. Let us always remember that when we approach the Lord in prayer, Jesus even taught us to, well, be careful of claiming that, well, the Father is just simply mine. That's why he didn't teach us a prayer, my Father who art in heaven. He always wanted to remind us that our Father has a relationship to all of us. And that really the type of possession is not really one of being able to claim ownership of and say, I can do with this what I want, but rather it's part of a deep and abiding relationship in the plan of God. So whether it's your time or your body or your vote or anything of yours, realize that it's not yours in the sense that you can do with it what you want. You have a responsibility. You have a relationship. You have a relationship that can even be deep and abiding to all those things because they were given to you as a gift from God.